Okay, I think we'll just go ahead and get started here. So, uh, first of all, thank you everyone for joining us here today. It's definitely really nice to be able to speak with everyone about what we're doing and kind of get your questions answered and things like that. As we know we have a lot of things lined up for you guys. So, um, just I guess a quick overview of what happened this last month. We had a really great month, and we had a lot of really good announcements and big things planned, and so um, one of like the really first big things of last month was that we announced, C Fund invested into us, um, and so people who know the Cardano ecosystem are familiar with C Fund in that they are the investment arm of Cardano, and yeah, so that was a really great thing to have, a big move for us as well. Um, and then another thing that really happened that was really great for us was that Wave Financial actually joined us as advisory. And this is a really big thing for us because not so many people are familiar with Wave Fund, but actually they are the parent company of C Fund. And in this regard, they have a really big reach and were able to help us out a lot and have continued to do so. So that was that was one of the announcements that didn't seem to resonate as strongly as so many of the other ones, but it's definitely
Oh,
a
it
huge thing
resonated
for
with
us.
me.
So
That's a big move.
um, next thing was that we released the Paribus user interface. So as we get closer to the MVP, we released kind of the look and the feel of how it's going to be going. As soon as we do launch in December. So that was very well received, and definitely happy to have given you guys that preview on that. Then I would say one of the biggest news that happened this last month was that PBX,
The
we
burn.
announced that it's going to be deflationary. And we had a really big burn at the end of this last month on the 29th, and we burned quite a bit more than we had actually originally intended. It turned out to be about 25 million PBX. Um, and the reason it kind of jumped up so high was, and and thanks to the volume incentive. So there's so much trading and things like that in this last month that we were kind of thinking it would be somewhere in about the $2 million range or 2 million PBX range, and it just bumped up that high. So the more trading, the more we burn. So definitely happy to have been able to deliver that high amount. So um, and just the last thing, we wrapped it up with the sticker meme competition. So that was just a fun thing, and definitely thankful for everyone who was able to participate and who took the time to create something for us. So um, yeah, that was kind of our month in a nutshell. And yeah, we have definitely some really cool things planned for this month ahead, and I'm looking forward to you know announcing those things when the time is right, and we'll give a little sneak peek of what we're actually doing here for you guys who are listening here today. So stick around, and we'll let you guys know. Um, I guess the other thing is as we are um, pretty much in process for staking. Um, right now, our options for to earn PBX rewards is going to be through the Orion pool, and when I checked last, it was about 100% APR. So that's definitely something I would recommend to jump in. It's definitely a really good way to actually get some rewards. So we'll talk a little bit more about staking later on as well. So
But to add to that, we will continue the liquidity program at least another month or two.
yep,
Um,
yep,
or for people that join in now, they don't need to worry that it will end in like 10 days or something.
exactly. Thanks, Sam. So, yeah, pretty much that was just a quick recap of what we did this last month, and for the things going forward here, I would say we can just go ahead and answer some questions. We'll try to keep it to an hour. If it happens to go, longer, we'll have to just kind of save it for next time or put it in the chat. Um, but yeah, I think we're just going to be open for some questions and see what you guys' thoughts are. So go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You mentioning the Wave Financial partnership and how you said that it didn't really move in the news as much as it probably deserved to. I actually felt the same way, and I had some questions around how big of a thing is that? And how does that come about? Were you approached by Wave? Did you reach out to them?
I mean, I would say, like, initially they came to us, like they approached us with C Fund very early in our funding stage. That's how we got in contact with the team behind it and Waves as well. And it's definitely really helpful for us because they invest in a lot of companies. They have a big network within the Cardano ecosystem as well, to IOHK, even to Charles itself, and a lot of influencers as well. And that's definitely very helpful for us, given the fact that we often have things to nail down. And like, for example, with the EVM sidechain that was delayed by Cardano itself, the KEVM. However, Waves has a company they invest in that develops an EVM sidechain as well, so we can move forward with that. And that's all. Like, these are the kinds of partner, kind of things that Waves, make happen for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else has a question, we are happy to answer.
Hey, I've got a little community of folks, so I've got a bunch of questions for myself and many other people on my YouTube.
Yeah, then feel free. Feel free to go. Like, we're happy to answer.
Okay, so I don't want to jump ahead. I don't know if you guys planned on talking about it too much just yet.
To more is more like a casual. We answer more questions than giving out informations.
All right. Staking. I get a lot of questions about staking. So I feel like a lot of the people that are here investing in Paribus are more retailer. And that can be annoying, but I also see it as really interesting and a potential way of onboarding a lot of new serious people that could use DeFi instead of just holding the coin. So I try to, show patience and educate more. That's probably the biggest question I get is about staking. Like, what's the difference between, say, staking on Orion versus what you guys have planned as far as native staking? Could you share like some
so the difference right now on Orion itself, it's not staking, it's more farming. So you provide liquidity to the pool, in this case PBX as well as USDT. But given the nature of liquidity pools and moving prices, you might have an impermanent loss. And with single site staking, which we will release with a staking platform, you never need to worry that you get less PBX at the end. It will always increase as long as you stake.
Perfect. As far as the single side staking or native staking, will that be available on the MVP, or are we talking next year?
Actually staking, this is one of the priorities of our development teams right now. We aim to release it within this month. However, that might be possible or not, depending on how fast the audit goes through, as well as our UI. But I mean, if you want, guys, then I will share one or two sneak peek pictures of the upcoming staking UI.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
You give me a second, I will post it in the chat.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the big things I wanted to bring up today was that we're going to be doing this. The staking for us will be coming out sooner rather than later, and we already have quite a bit of development done on that side. We have the whole user interface built for that, and Simon's going to be able to share, a little sneak peek.
Just posted it in the Paribus group for you guys.
Perfect.
Take a look.
You guys can take a look at that, and just stay tuned for that announcement for when that's going to go live. that's going to be definitely really exciting for us to kind of be in line with things like Cardano, who has native staking. So we're going to have the same type of deal, and we'll give all the details about the stages and what the actual APR is going to be and everything like that. So just hang tight, and you'll get those announcements pretty soon.
Perfect. I was actually going to ask that question.
I have a question. Do you have plan to list the PBX coin on the another exchange?
Sorry, but we won't talk about exchange listing until this has been officially announced by an exchange itself.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely that's just something that we have to do for the requirements for NDAs and things like that. So it's really important that we don't speak on anything until it actually takes place. But there is actually something that we're going to be announcing very soon, and we're going to be announcing it today. And for anyone who is familiar with AnySwap, we actually just got listed on AnySwap. That's something that just kind of took place. They decided to list us, and so we're going to be making that announcement soon. So it's actually a really cool platform, being that it's going to be cross-bridge. So essentially, it's going to be linking, Ethereum, Arbitrum, and Polygon. So that's going to be one of the announcements that we're going to be making today. So you guys get a little sneak preview of that. So that's pretty exciting. So.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question about the platform for the MVP. So I was, what is it called? Arbitrum?
Exactly.
Yes,
the blockchain is called Arbitrum.
Okay. There were questions around security from two standpoints. One, that blockchain in itself, and then your workings on that blockchain. And I know you guys said that you were going to do audits, but is there a way to ensure people or calm people's nerves around this blockchain that they may not have ever heard of before?
So definitely, like Arbitrum might seem new to a lot of player, or a lot of crypto folks, but actually there are a couple of big projects already deployed on Arbitrum. I think SushiSwap and a couple of other, as well as Aweave, the borrowed lending protocol itself. So it's definitely a very good blockchain and a very fast one as well. Cheap to work with for the users. And as I said, a lot of big players also deployed on there. It's backed by really big names. So the security is there from the blockchain itself.
Yeah, it's not a small chain either. They have, over 2 point something billion in assets. So it's one of the biggest that are leading right now. So.
No, deixa eu ver. Yeah.
Oh, I had a question, but then I forgot it.
Hello. Yeah, I have a question.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi,
sure.
from Thailand. Yeah, so right now I want to know that are you having a plan having partners that you are dealing with right now? If yes, what kind of partner are you dealing with? When and where can I track the news? Thank you.
Meeting.
You mean like what partnerships we announced so far?
Yes, and in the future too.
Yeah, well, we can't talk right now about future partnerships, but overall, we will always announce our partnerships on our social media channels. Also, we have on Telegram a special announcement channel. Yeah, but the partners we partnered up with so far are Giro Wallet, like one of the leading wallets in the Cardano ecosystem. Charlie 3, one very big Oracle solution for Cardano, as well as like a couple of advisories like Wave Financial and investments from C Fund, as well as Banta Capital. And like that's the things we can share for now, but more will come for sure once we are allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, and Orion Protocol as well. But yeah, so we will be making some announcements, within the next week or two, maybe, with some future partnerships. So definitely have been working with a lot of people within the ecosystem, and we'll be definitely making some new partnership announcements as the weeks go along.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, can you talk a little bit about why you chose Cardano as opposed to building on Polygon or Binance?
Oh. Here we go.
Yeah, sure. So I've personally been a fan of Cardano for a while. Some of the reasons why we chose to build on Cardano versus other blockchains is
Do you like paying
we
$100
think
for a
that
transaction?
our interests really align with them in regards to like their vision of the future of crypto and things like that.
CKB is the question.
Also, personally, I really like their methodical and calculated approach to building a system that's going to be for the long run. We definitely look at Paribus as being something that's built for a very long-term run, and even if it takes a little bit more extra time or whatever that may be, we really focus on making sure that it's done right. And we think also additionally there's a lot of very strong supporters within the Cardano community, and we want to show them that we have a product that's worthy of their support as well. So there's some of the reasons why we chose to get on Cardano.
I have a question around just being chain agnostic. I asked the question around Nervos the last chat, and you guys had stated that it was kind of brought up in one of your internal discussions. I was curious as if you guys had talked more about that, and what was the context of the conversation you guys had about it?
Sorry, but we can't talk about the ongoing conversation right now.
Oh, okay. So are you guys talking to them? Can you say that much?
We're discussing internally, but as soon as we have any concrete announcements, we'll be happy to share with you guys.
Awesome. That was a good answer. It kind of answered the question, but not at the same time.
I have another questions. So I look at the roadmap and I saw the Cardano migration one. So right now, are we building on Cardano or we are using other for now?
It's on ERC20 right now.
Sure. So as of right now, essentially we are building on Solidity, which is EVM compatible, and as we had kind of initially thought that having the access to Cardano ecosystem versus via a KEVM was going to be more of a higher priority for Cardano, and that it would be pretty much complete now, if not within a couple months. That actually changed on their side, and essentially we had already continued with development, and we were already quite far along with building our product. And so we decided to stick with that and just wait out as soon as we have access to KEVM. But that's kind of the stage that we're at now. So as soon as Cardano is fully complete in regards to having the access via a sidechain such as KEVM, then we'll be happy to join them on that side.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions from the community?
Yeah, I have a question around the staking. So how do you envision the staking both when the upcoming app comes out and when you guys finally do get to Cardano, when that's available, is the platform going to be able to stake like different versions of the coin, like, Cardano native or ERC20 on the same platform, or do we have to use like a combination of bridges?
So for the initial version, it will be staking on Ethereum, given the fact that our token is right now on Ethereum. But once we migrate to Cardano, the staking platform will migrate as well, and you guys will be able to stake on cheap Cardano EVM sidechain, where our token will live for our DApp anyway. So that's the like goal right now.
Okay. Follow up. In the end, is it going to be something that you guys recommend that all tokens be converted to Cardano, or is it going to be like kind of an open environment thing where the person does what they want to do?
I mean, the people are always up to do whatever they want. But given the fact that we will also have governance in the future, we will have to have one chain where all the governance voting takes place. And given the fact that we are Cardano native, it will be on the Cardano chain. So I'd suggest people in the long term to migrate the tokens over to Cardano once that is ready and stake them there for the upcoming governments when that launch.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Wilson, your voice totally cut out for me on the mic when I asked that question about why you chose Cardano over Polygon. Could you just give me a brief recap of that? Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Yeah, so I can kind of just say from my perspective. Are you hearing me, John? Can you hear me okay, John?
I can hear you
Doing it
fine.
again, it was like super staticky for me. I don't know why. When I
Yeah, well, that seems to be an issue on your side because we can hear him clear.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
But yeah, I'm happy to give a recap if you can hear me properly. So from my perspective, the reason why I would like to, I originally wanted us to be on Cardano was because I think that their interests truly align with ours, as a protocol itself, and the fact that they are building something in a very methodical and thought out type of way. That's kind of the same vision that we have, and we think that we align in that regard. Additionally, we the Cardano community is very strong, and we believe that we have a product that is going to be worthy of their support, and so that's kind of some of the main reasons, just to sum it up there.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, Shane. Maybe a question you might not be able to answer around timeframes. Are you getting any indication whether the Cardano network's kind of like 3, 6, 9 months away from having a usable KEVM for you?
So right now it seems like the testnet will be at least up Q4 this year, and the mainnet for an EVM sidechain should be up Q1 next year. However, that might be faster or later depending on like if they find any major or like any critical bugs, for example. But we will keep the community updated once we know more on that side.
Cool, thanks.
Any other questions from the community?
Yeah. The sneak peek, that's going to be basically what it looks like when you guys go live on Arbitrum, correct? Or is that the future app?
No, well, like this is the staking app itself will likely be on Ethereum only for the time given until we migrate to Cardano. But that's what we plan to release during this month. I mean, it depends on how fast the audits will go through.
Yeah.
But the staking should be live this month.
Awesome. I just follow up to that question. Will there be like any kind of minimums or maximums when it comes to staking?
So in general, it will be a tier system, 3 tiers with different requirements of minimum tokens. However, we will make more announcement around that closer to the like release day.
Okay.
Yeah, you can already see from the preview there that we have it grouped into 3 different time periods, which is going to be 60 days, 180 days, and 365.
A question about support from the card starter team. Is that still a relationship you guys have pretty active?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we are still active in conversation with the card starter team as well as upcoming projects they launch.
And are they providing you the kind of the connections and the mentorship that was kind of promised?
Yeah, for sure. Like, so they're definitely helpful in terms of connecting to other projects within the Cardano ecosystem, as well as I said, like when they have upcoming projects as well, and they think it's interesting for one of us parties to work with each other, then they definitely make the introduction as well.
Nice. That's good to hear they're building that, helping to build that ecosystem out. Right.
When you mentioned additional product, are you talking about a sub product for Paribus or something completely different?
Different product in which term? I'm not sure what you're referring to right now.
Oh, I thought I heard you say that when he asked about Card Starter, that you said for other projects.
No, not product. I mean, like, yeah, project itself.
Like
once,
project.
yeah. So when Cardstart has new project and they think it would be interesting for them to work with us or for us with them, then they make the connections.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I have a question. How will NFT collateral based loans and NFT staking work?
So we can't go as into the detail as much as we want right now. We will give more information around that once we move closer to the release of the NFT functionality. But it's right now, the plan is we have an NFT pool basically. So at the beginning, it will only work with approved collections, for example. Cyberpunk. CryptoPunks. And you have a pool of different CryptoPunks where you can then, at your existing CryptoPunk, you will receive a valuation given on an algorithm we are actively working on. The collateral factor will be quite low due to the illiquid nature of assets, like NFT assets itself. And then basically it works the same. Like once you stake it into pool, you get like your collateral limit you can borrow against. Then you can take out a loan like you know from traditional borrow and lending platforms like Compound, for example. Just with the step before that instant of like depositing Ethereum or ADA, you would deposit your NFT into a pool.
All right, thank you.
I have a question, gents. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yep.
hear you.
Go ahead.
If this question's been answered already, I apologize in advance. But have you had an opportunity to, or are you considering working with any of the African-based RealFi projects such as Empower or Wea Collective?
I'm honest, I haven't heard about that project yet, but it might be Wilson know maybe more on that front.
Yeah, so I know that Cardano works a lot with that area, and they have a lot of connections with building those types of ecosystems, and that's definitely something that I have on my radar for the future. I just don't believe that we're quite at that stage to expand our reach and our focus there yet. But yes, definitely, as we continue to grow and we kind of get certain things lined up and completed from our checklists, then that's something that we'll be able to do for sure.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
No problem.
This has been good. There's a lot of new announcements coming.
Hi, I have a question. Does the team has any plans to capitalize on the Metaverse trend?
Well, I would say that in a way, we will be including more things like virtual land as soon as we add that to our protocol for NFT and virtual land, um, loans and such. So that is a way in which we're going to be getting into the metaverse. But as of right now, we kind of have to keep our focus a little bit more narrow for what we're planning to do. But I definitely think it's very interesting personally, and we'll look for avenues to get into that as soon as we have something that fits our goals with Paribus itself.
Thank you.
I have like kind of a little follow up, or maybe just even a tidbit to add to that. In my opinion, I feel like that whole thing, that metaverse space, has a massive potential. But like on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, how are you seeing it? Because I believe that I think like it's going to be like a switch. One day the switch is going to turn, and then all of a sudden we're going to have all of these new assets that people love and want that we didn't even think about the day prior. So, like on a 1 to 10 scale, like how are you thinking that's going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a little hard to quantify it in that way, but I would say I definitely agree with that statement. Um, but as we know NFTs weren't such a big thing 2 years ago, even though they had been around longer than that. And yeah, exactly, there's going to be one point where it's just the switch happens, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a huge explosion in that realm. But I would say we're still a little bit far off in my assessment of it. So that's definitely something that we keep in the back of our mind, and we want to be involved in any of those areas that can be included into blockchain and things like that. But yeah, I would just say right now it's not maybe the highest priority, but we can see it being a higher priority in the future.
Thank you. I had a question around the governance.
Okay.
Right. I a lot of my governance experience comes from, Cardano and, what Cody is looking to do as well at some point. But in my limited research of it, I've noticed, one of the cons is that it's not very fast in a sense. And this actually kind of rolls away from the last question. Say something does pop up that's just really big, like, a corner turning event and it's something that would benefit the platform, like how do you see like that going as far as like a timetable? Would it be something that would take, weeks or a month to get to a vote and then have it voted on and then implemented?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to depend on, the situation for sure. I mean, initially, it's not going to be that all of a sudden, the community has, complete say of everything and that we're, 100% a DAO. So there's going to be, governance votes that happen that are maybe proposed by the team initially. And then, as the time goes on, there's going to be, more of an opportunity for, you know, involvement of the community independent of us. But in reality, if it's something that's so game changing or so important to act on quickly, I would imagine that the community can put together something that is you know in a faster timetable than normal. So that's something to keep in mind for sure, that we'd want to give the ability for us to act quickly on these things. But like I said, initially we'll have the grounds to make a vote when we see fit if something big did come up. Um, but that's going to be a gradual change of power there.
Okay. Well, what's your ideal timeline for anything? Say it's something that you guys propose, a small change. Like, what's the time frame for something like that?
So my original idea, or like my idea for that right now, I mean that we haven't decided on the timelines yet. But for example, a new asset want to be listed on our borrow and lending platform. That's something that could be done quite fast, given the fact that these are just smart contract calls. So I would say around that, it's like you set up a vote, you have 3 days to vote on, and after that, it's take 2 days, for example, to actually make that change. So I would say for stuff like adding new assets, changing collateral rates, if it is not an emergency, I would aim around 5 days to actually get that voted on and implemented or changed if the vote pass.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. So if not, we can wrap it up here. And if anything does pop up, feel free to add it in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer that. But definitely thank you for everyone joining us here today. Really appreciate the well thought out questions and everyone being courteous to everyone else. And I really appreciate you guys. And keep up to date with us. We're going to have some cool announcements coming up soon. So appreciate you guys a lot, and have a great rest of the day. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right. That was it. We're going to go ahead and end it here. And we got some stuff to talk about.